with Buffalo Music Hall of Fame Vice President Tom Lorenz and Kenny Tomasulo, who's one of our MCs tonight. We haven't started the show yet. How you feeling, Ken?
I feel pretty excited. It's my first time doing it, but we'll see what happens.
Tom, you're a veteran of this stuff, so how about you?
Hey, I'm excited. This guy's going to knock him out tonight. He's going to hit a home run for us right here.
So what are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, just the camaraderie of all these talented people. I mean, veteran musicians. There's going to be some names that people haven't heard of, but when you've heard what they did and what they've accomplished in their lifetime, you'll be impressed.
And Kenny, you're an accomplished musician and singer yourself. How about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the camaraderie and seeing some of these other entertainers that I haven't seen in so many years. It's going to be a thrill to see them.
All right, good luck, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, I'm getting ganged up on this one here, folks. It's Guy Norelli and Patty Parks and Anthony Casuccio and Robin Grant. And we'll start with the musicians here, the important people. Sorry, guys. Guy, it's great to see you here. You are here for a couple of different people, I think, tonight, but what's the main connection for you?
Well, Wally Jetterman's getting inducted tonight. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years, so I'm really excited for him.
Didn't he teach you?
Yes, he did. So if I don't play good, it's all his fault.
Well, he's here in person. You can blame him yourself. And Patty, it's great to see you here as well, an inducted member of the Hall of Fame not too long ago. And how does it feel to be back and being part of this tonight?
And always support the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. We're so excited every year to have a new group of inductees that get recognized and have that connection in Buffalo forever.
Well, thanks, folks, for coming and enjoy the night. And we turn over here to Robin, who is also an inducted member of the Hall of Fame just last year. 2 years ago, that's right. Time does fly.
2021.
That's right. Well, I'm losing track of it all. So how's it feel to be back?
It feels great to be back. I'm so excited for the class of 2023. We have amazing people going into the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, carrying on the legacy of music in Western New York and beyond.
Of course, Robin's a trustee, and the president of the whole thing is right here, Anthony. Big night for us.
Very excited to honor these people who've made an impact and just have a good time listening to them and their stories and tomorrow night's concert and just honor them. That's it.
All right, we're back again, getting ready for the ceremony, and another guest of one of our inductees. Your name is?
My name is Althea Learson.
And you are here for?
Peggy Farrell.
She's got a big contingent here. We've already talked to some of her relatives as well. What are your memories of her?
She's my favorite aunt. I absolutely adore that woman.
Well, it's amazing that she's still doing what she does after all these.
She still sings. Once a month, she's amazing. And she packs the house. All of us can't wait to go see her. We're so proud of her and so happy to be here for her tonight.
I've heard it's a musical family. Does that extend to you, too?
Yes, it does. What do you do? I sing. I used to play the clarinet, but not very well. But we all sing. Not like her, but we sing.
Well, terrific. It's great to
do that right now.
We won't. It's so great to have you and the rest of the family here. Enjoy the night.
Thank you so much.
All right, here with Board of Trustees member at the Hall of Fame, Steve Cantor. Steve, it's great to have you here. I know this is a big night for you and the rest of the Hall of Fame board.
Oh, it's a culmination of a year's hard work, and really appreciate all the hard work of the board members, including yourself. Just excited to see everyone get inducted tonight and how rewarding it is for them.
I'm going to cheat a little bit because I think I know who you're most excited about seeing, the big group towards the end.
Oh, you are correct, but we'll leave that we'll leave that up in the air for now.
One of the big groups towards. You had a personal interest in this one group that's getting inducted tonight, but like you said, we'll let it be a mystery.
Yes. Thank you.
Great to see you. Enjoy the night. All right, once again, here before the ceremony gets underway, and you are?
Ayla.
And?
Johnny.
It's nice to see you folks. And who are you here for?
Peggy Farrell, my grandmother.
Well, she's got an incredible story, and she's still doing it after all these years. What memories do you have of her?
Well, actually, recently we just got married, and she sang for our wedding.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you all here. The family's got a nice big presence tonight, and seeing her here as well. It's awesome to have you guys here. Enjoy the evening. Back out here in the greeting area before we get started with the show, and your name is?
Monica Saya Duncan.
Monica, you're here for?
Fred Saya.
That's right. He's one of our legacy inductees.
Yes, he is. He owned Great Lakes Booking Agency, and he booked many Buffalo bands back in the 60s and 70s.
Now, what personal memories do you have of Freddie in the business?
Okay, so we actually had entertainers at the house all the time. My dad wouldn't he had 5 daughters. My dad, he wouldn't allow us to talk to the guys in the bands. He said, no musicians. You can't date musicians, you can't talk to them. But we had Foster Brooks for dinner one night, because anybody who came into Buffalo from out of town had to go through him. And James Caan, when he did Hide in Plain Sight, we met. He came over. Cher, when she came with Greg Allman. So, and I got to sit on stage for Fleetwood Mac when I was in high school. So pretty cool stuff.
Amazing memories. Well, we're glad to have you here and enjoy the night. All right, we're here with one of our inducted members to be tonight. We're so honored to welcome Chuck Anderson to the evening. Chuck, it's great to see you.
Well, it's great to be here. Such an honor. I can't, my heart's full.
Well, you've done so much for the Buffalo community. I think about where our Hall of Fame offices are in Black Rock, and you had so much to do with bringing back that community and the musical renaissance there. It's kind of our own little music row.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure doing all those years. But the Hall family is the best there is. They're doing great, and that makes me happy.
I want to take you back before all that to your career as a musician, which is really what started this journey for you.
Well, I learned how to play guitar when I was 12 or 13. I hooked up with Jimmy Ralston. We started a band called the Barons in 1962. We played at different clubs and stuff, and then we got a little better and changed the name to The Mood. We played till about 1969. Just around 1970, my family business kind of got the best of me, and I had to make a decision. Either I was playing all the time or working, and so I did that, but I never lost my love for music, and still to this day.
Well, it's great to have you here. You're more than deserving of being a Hall of Famer as a musician and as a media person, so it's enjoy your night.
Thank you.
All right, here once again with Grasshopper from Mercury Rev, and what a journey to get here, huh?
Oh my God, it's amazing. This is the only Hall of Fame I want to be in. This is, dear to the heart.
Well, you guys travel and have success all over the world, but it started here in Buffalo at UB, and what a great thing to come back around now.
Yeah, I come to Buffalo. I live in the Hudson Valley now, but I come here quite a bit, and go Bills, and and the music here, the community. My sister lives here, and I just, it's a great city, and the music scene is one of the best in the world, really. Beautiful.
All right, Sean, well, thanks so much. Enjoy your night. We'll look forward to seeing you up there.
Good evening, everyone. All right, and welcome to the 41st annual induction ceremony for the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. Can I get a round of applause? All right. All right, my name is Anthony Casuccio, and I am the president of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame.
I'm Tom Lorenz. I'm the vice president of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. And tonight is a celebration of music with roots right here in Buffalo. We will honor those with us and those who have left us, this Queen City, making a mark on music history.
Before we dive into this ceremony, we would like to be able to, if you enjoy your dinner, and as you begin savoring this amazing, amazing dinner that we have prepared for you, not me personally, we would like to share with you a little bit about the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. Some of you may be wondering, what is the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame? Our mission is to properly honor the diverse musical talent that has flourished in the Western New York area. Through the years, the Hall of Fame has honored some of the most amazing talent this area, this country, and even the world has ever known. They have been Grammy winners and Academy Award winners, soundtrack composers that have put the music to our favorite movies, musicals, and TV shows, producers and engineers that have helped craft the hit songs of generations. As long as we can get lost in the melody of a magnificent symphony, a brilliant blues bass master, a hot rocker, or a keyboard virtuoso, as long as music lifts our hearts and inspires our souls, the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame will continue its noble mission of preserving our musical heritage. With over 300 inductees and counting, the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame will continue to grow. in the Western New York area will always pay homage to the men and women who have traveled over the rainbow, have found better days, and know that happy days are here again. And if you do not recognize these song titles, visit our website at buffalomusichallofame.org to learn more about our inductees. All right, thank you.
Now it is time for us to sit back a little and hand the mic over to our MCs for the evening. Kenny Tomasulu, a Buffalo Music Hall of Fame Class of 2014 member, and Mercedes Wilson, a Channel 7 television personality.
Anthony and Tom, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and all that you do.
This year we are recognizing some of the most influential talents of our time.
From an opera singer to a saxophonist, promoter, and actor, this group of people we are about to honor have left a true Buffalo legacy behind. All of the members of the legacy class of 2023 may have passed on many years ago, but the music they created lives on here in Western New York.
Bob Armstrong, a singer and multi-instrumentalist who parlayed his talents into success that spanned the golden age of radio and the early days of television. Bob Armstrong began his musical career singing with the Modern Airs Quartet out of Lafayette High School and played piano in speakeasies during Prohibition. In 1927, he met Dr. Clinton Churchill, owner of WKBW Radio, who gave Armstrong his own show. Bob formed a band in the 1930s in which he played piano, cello, trombone, and other instruments. Armstrong was an early musical director at radio stations WBEN and WEBR before working nationally with the Andrews Sisters and arranging music for Jet Parr and Fred Allen. Bob earned 2 Grammy nominations while also writing and arranging for RCA Records and 2 Broadway shows. A versatile opera singer who spent her childhood in Buffalo and went on to sing lead roles as both a soprano and mezzo-soprano on the Metropolitan Opera stage. Bampton was born in Lakewood, Ohio in 1907. After growing up in Buffalo, she studied voice at Drake University in Iowa and first performed professionally in Faust at the Chautauqua Opera in 1929. She also sang at the Philadelphia Grand Opera and with the Philadelphia Orchestra while studying further at the Curtis Institute there. Bampton made her Met debut in La Gioconda in 1932 after she had been singing professionally for only 3 years. Rose also made notable appearances in San Francisco, Chicago, and Buenos Aires. She performed sporadically after 1950, focusing on a second career as a college voice instructor in New York City and elsewhere. Bampton died in 2007 at age 99. Charles Cocci, a singer, actor, and record producer who left Buffalo for Los Angeles in the mid-50s to pursue a national career in nightclubs and films. Cocci was born in Buffalo and graduated from Grover Cleveland High School. He won the Ted Mack Amateur Hour at age 12 and was discovered by singer Frankie Lane. Signed to Capitol Records, Charles also appeared in several films and TV series. As Bobby Milano, he became a well-known figure in the Coachella Valley of California, featured in Palm Springs nightclubs and supper clubs. His famous friends included Frank Sinatra, Frankie Avalon, Ralph Young, and Jerry Vale, and he partnered professionally and personally with singer Keely Smith, the ex-wife of legendary band leader Louis Prima. The Modern Airs, a big band era vocal group from Lafayette High School, most famous for performing internationally alongside the Glenn Miller Orchestra. The Modern Airs were formed in 1934 by schoolmates Hal Dickinson, Chuck Goldstein, and Bill Conway. They first performed as Don Juan and 2 and 3, moving to New York City in the mid-30s and gaining a 26-week residency on CBS Network Radio. They joined the Ozzie Nelson Band, added fourth member Ralph Brewster, and performed and recorded with Fred Waring, Charlie Barnett, George Hall, and Paul Whiteman. In January 1941, Glenn Miller asked the Modern Airs to sing with his legendary big band. Paula Kelly, wife of Hal Dickinson, also joined in 1941. Later members included Johnny Drake and Fran Scott. The Modern Airs repertoire included Perfidia, Chattanooga Choo Choo, Serenade in Blue, and There I've Said It Again. The Modern Airs were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 1999. Fred Saya, a successful booking agent and manager who promoted some of the biggest Buffalo-based rock acts of the 1970s.
Fred Saya was born in 1934 into a musical family. Among his relatives were the Shintas. Saya played piano and saxophone before his size and stature led his performing friends and relatives to invite him to their shows to ensure proper payment. Freddie also began to negotiate contracts, founding Great Lakes Booking Agency on Hurdle Avenue in North Buffalo. By 1970, he was managing Buffalo Music Hall of Fame inductees The Road. Fred booked just about every major Western New York group into the major nightclubs of the time during what many consider the golden age of live music in Buffalo. John Sadola, a nationally known saxophonist who became one of Western New York's most acclaimed instrumental instructors and music store proprietors. Bobby Militello called him the best saxophone teacher, I think, in the world. John Sadola taught a who's who of accomplished players, including Militello, Don Menza, Dick Griffo, Ron Palladino, and Sal Andolina. After performing with the New York City-based NBC Symphony under Arturo Toscanini, John opened Sadola's music on Buffalo's West Side. He became known for his rigorous practice demands, which paid off when many of his students became great players and teachers in their own rights. Born in 1907, John Sadola died in 1984 at age 77.
We now move on to this year's newest inductees. We begin with Sabu Adiola. This Buffalo-born titan of jazz bass studied under Charles Mingus. He went on to record and tour with the Ahmad Jamal Trio, one of the most celebrated small combos in jazz history. His deep Buffalo connections have also included collaborations with Buffalo Music Hall of Fame inducted members Al Tinney, George Caldwell, and Junie Booth, of whom he performed in the duo Two Bass Hits. Please put your hands together for Sabu Adiola.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I must begin in the name of the creator of the heavens and the earth, because without him, I would not be able to lift one finger. As you know, in my profession, I have to lift 10 fingers. We wouldn't be able to breathe. Nothing would move without his permission, so that's my first acknowledgement. Secondly, I would like to acknowledge, as you read, my parents sent me to music school against my will, you know. I didn't want to go to music class because I thought music was for girls, you know. And one day Mom came in, I was in the backyard playing, and Mom sent my sister, my older sister Kim, "Get your brother, bring him in here real quick." And she went and got me by the ear, said, "Mom says come right now." And she said, "That's the greatest musician in the world." And it was Louis Armstrong on television. So then I didn't want to take piano lessons more, I wanted a trumpet then, you know. So thirdly, I'd like to acknowledge my family, loving, supportive family, as you see, especially my wife of 54 years. She willed herself, after a quadruple bypass surgery this summer, she willed herself out of rehab because she had to be here for this auspicious occasion. She did. And all my children, you know, all my children are here, except for two. Most of my children are here. This is my daughter, Miriam. Is she beautiful? She's an esquire, you know. And then I have my other daughter, Amira, there. My sons, Umar, Talib, there's Kamal, all right? There's my granddaughter, all right? And grandson here is all here. And his mother, Shannon. So they all came here just because of me. So it's an amazing journey. I'm very thankful and I'm grateful. I thank you all for recognizing. I was just trying to have a little fun with music. Thank you very much.
Peggy Farrell. Peggy Farrell is an iconic Buffalo jazz vocalist. Peggy began singing as a young girl. She was discovered while working as an elevator operator at the Statler and performed in New York City, Cleveland, San Francisco, and elsewhere. Peggy raised a family as a single mother for nearly 20 years before coming back to music as the partner of Hall of Fame inducted member, pianist Al Tinney. Let's give a round of applause for Peggy Farrell.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I'd like to thank the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame for providing this event. It's a wonderful thing that they do. I feel very honored and humbled to be here tonight. I would like to give my wonderful, loving family my deepest gratitude for all their support, kindness, and love that they've shown me, as well as my friends and many musicians that I've worked with over the years. Too many to mention. We might be here for a couple more hours. So, and a little special thanks to Maida Posentati for her insight, kindness, and generosity. It's been a long and interesting ride, and when I wake up in the morning, I say, wow, I'm still here. And I thank God for another day. For those who have left us, I would like to mention my wonderful 18 years with the fabulous Al Tinney. He not only coached me, he arranged music for me, he rehearsed with me, and he loved me. And where else was I going to say? And another person that is no longer with us was the fabulous, what the hell is her name? Fideli, Ann Fideli, from the great Fideli family. She was the one that gave me my first professional job. And October the 4th is a special day, not only because I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame, but a little more than a few years ago, I was blessed with a beautiful daughter, Erica, and today is her birthday. So I am planning to say, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Erica, happy birthday to you. I love you. Thank you.
All right, let's meet our next inductee, Chuck Anderson. He is the founder and owner of Imagine Event Center and Imagine Recording Studios, which is now The Cave. His efforts have helped create a music row in the Black Rock neighborhood of Grant and Amherst Streets and Military Road. Chuck helps to produce promotional photos and music videos for some of Western New York's leading performers. Chuck Anderson, congratulations on your induction into the 2023 class of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Chuck. Congratulations. Boy, Peggy's a hard act to follow, so I'm just going to say a couple things. First of all, thank you for the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. If you only knew what they have to go through to make all this happen, it's amazing, and they need a round of applause. My music career started in about 1963, and me and Jimmy Ralston kind of taught each other how to play guitar. Then we created a band called the Barons and played for about a year, and then after that we called the band The Mood. We played for about 5 or 6 more years. Then my family business really got in the way, and I had to make a decision Do I quit playing out, or do I make a living the way I should with my family business? And I did that, but I never forgot about music. It's been in my heart forever, and it will be forever. Thank you.
Next tonight, a man of many talents, William Pete Hankinson was a musician, composer, producer, arranger, promoter, teacher, author, and inventor. He was one of Western New York's most varied and successful guitar practitioners. Pete toured with Brenda Lee and Ronnie Millsap and gained college degrees in classical guitar and music education. William Pete Hankinson, we congratulate you. Accepting on behalf of the late William Pete Hankinson is his sister-in-law, Beverly Locksterman.
So now I have to change my little speech because you said some of the things I was going to say. Anyway, anybody that knew Pete Hankinson, when you'd meet him, you would be greeted with a firm handshake, a smile on his face, and maybe a joke or two. That's the way I met him the first time. Pete had a zest for life, and the love of his life were three things. My sister, Linda Carreri Hankinson, his son, Eric Hankinson, whose birthday was yesterday, and music. He loved to play music, he loved to write music, and he loved to teach music. Pete went into the Army, and his commander said, "Does anybody out here play the trombone?" Pete raised his hand. He had never touched a trombone in his life, but that's how he got into the Army band. And he did play trombone, but then he ended up playing guitar. So he toured, after he got out of the Army, he toured with my cousin, who is George Carreri. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Carreri family, but they're all musicians from the Tonawandas. He and George and their group called the Diplomats, affectionately known as the Dips, toured up and down the East Coast for a few years. Then he came back to North Tonawanda and played with my uncle Dominic Carreri in bands that did local things. And at a wedding one night, Pete was playing with my uncle, and my uncle introduced him to my sister. And that's how the story goes. So Pete got a bachelor's degree from UB in music education and a master's degree in classical guitar. He taught at Niagara Community College and also at Sweet Home Middle School. And he had a lot of private students, some of which went on to have their own musical careers. He patented a watch that had the face of a chromatic scale on it, and he sold the watches all over the world. His son Eric has taken over the business, and we have a table set up outside so you can all buy a watch on your way out. I'm only kidding, okay? So let's see. He played at Kleinhans, Shays, the Buffalo Symphony Orchestra, Melody Fair. He did a jazz concert for 3 consecutive summers at the Gateway Harbor along the canal in North Tonawanda, and I told him, oh, this is going to be a real dud. I was so wrong. We had the biggest attendance we ever had down there with those 3 concerts. So Pete decided he's going to get a real job that will pay him retirement and benefits. So he got a job with the New York Power Authority, and he worked there for 10 years while he still taught and still played out. But at the end of the 10 years, something kind of went funny. He wasn't feeling great. He went to the doctor, and he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So the wall came crushing down, and he continued to play as long as he could, but it got to the point where he had to go into assisted living. And my sister would bring the guitar there, and he would play for the residents, and they'd have sing-alongs, and everything was great. The disease progressed, and he had to go into a nursing home, and Pete passed away on March 22nd in 2021. I want to share with you one memory, and I don't want to cry. Okay. During the holidays and family get-togethers, we'd all get around the dining room table. Pete would bring out the guitar, my father would play the harmonica, and we'd sing and have a good old time. But Pete played dueling banjos, both parts, on his guitar. It was amazing to see and hear him do that. So I want you to remember Pete in that way. So on behalf of the Hankinson family, I would like to thank the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame for this outstanding award. And if he were here right now, he'd be beside himself with joy to accept this wonderful distinction. Thank you very much. I gotta take my glasses off.
Everybody having a good time so far? Very nice. If you noticed, there's a common thread here. Our inductees not only fill the air with music, they are active members in their community as well.
The Buffalo Music Hall of Fame is all about community and nurturing and supporting the future of music in Buffalo. Take a look.
My name is Tom Lorenz. I'm the Vice President of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. For more than a decade, the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame has presented young, talented musicians with scholarship awards for their outstanding accomplishments. Our exciting scholarship program opportunities encourage and mentor talented young musicians as they pursue careers in music and follow their musical dreams. The Buffalo Music Hall of Fame Education Scholarship recognizes outstanding high school seniors, grade 12, who will be studying music, business of music, music therapy, or any technical, audio, or production aspect of music in college. Special recipients will be chosen each year to receive our special scholarship awards. The Lucille and Jack Yellen Foundation, in collaboration with the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, has been mentoring and awarding young amateur songwriters between the ages of 13 and 18 since 2013. These budding young songwriters are given a chance to have one of their original song compositions take center stage. The winning songwriter will receive a cash prize and be showcased at various Buffalo Music Hall of Fame concert events. Community. On any given day throughout the year, the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame presence can be heard all across Western New York. Under the umbrella of Hall of Fame Heals, our trio of partnered programs, Music to Remember Western New York, Bridget's Battle, and Western New York Drummers for Homeless People have joined together to expand their reach to more of the community by bringing the healing power of music to Western New York. Our connection with the community continues throughout the year with performances at the Juneteenth Festival of Buffalo. The Unity Band, which is a class of 2003, is always one of the highlights of this great parade and event. We also fill the summer air with music in the heart of downtown Buffalo. The M&T Bank Plaza Events Series brings music fans 11 weeks of great outdoor concerts featuring some of Buffalo's finest groups and, of course, many Buffalo Music Hall of Fame inductees.
And of course, if you're looking for more information on the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, just head over to their website at buffalomusichallafoffame.org.
Next tonight, we honor a classically trained pianist who became one of Western New York's most accomplished jazz players. Wally Jetterman is still very active in a variety of jazz jams around the Western New York area. Wally won WBFO's Jazz Artist of the Year Award for 1985 and 86. Jetterman still plays at a variety of clubs, including Sportsman's Tavern and the GFY in Tonawanda. Let's welcome Wally Jetterman to the front of the room. Hi, Wally. How are you, buddy? Great to see you, buddy.
Holy cripe. Anyway, thanks. You're interrupting my dinner, I want you to know that. Anyway, yeah, it's a great honor. I didn't think too much of it when they told me two people, Becky Davis and Joe Dimino, were very instrumental in getting my fudge up here. Anyway, wow, I can't see a thing. It don't mean a thing if I can't. Anyway, it's been a long journey, 65 years. Anyway, I don't know what to say. It's, like I said, I wasn't too impressed. And then the more I thought about it, I said, that's really nice. I've been kicking around for so long. It's kind of good that some people notice me after 65 years. Peggy notices me. She better. I got to play for her tomorrow night. Chicago, summertime, and Indiana, right? Anyway, I don't know what I could say. I don't want to keep you. I'm keeping myself from my dinner, let alone you. Anyway, it is an honor, and I'm very happy that I got induced. That's something. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you. Thanks the board. Thanks all the wonderful. And you, Mr. Mack, and the makers of Geritol.
So who in the room is familiar with synthesizers? I hear one holler over there. Okay, 2 people, 3 people. Next tonight we honor Dr. David Luce. The pioneering scientist and inventor created the first commercially viable polyphonic synthesizer, the Polymoog, and also designed the Taurus-based pedal. Dr. Luce became president of Moog in 1981 and co-owner of the company in 1984. Dr. Luce was an ardent supporter of local musical and visual artists, civil rights, and environmental causes. We are honored to induct Dr. David Luce into the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. Accepting on behalf of Dr. Luce are Ben Luce, Andrea Luce, and Mrs. Mary Jane Luce.
Good evening. Let's give it up for the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. My name is Ben Luce. I'm the son of Dr. David Luce. This is my mother, Mary Jane Luce. My mother was a big part of my dad's achievements and is a very talented and very creative artist in her own right.
Thank you.
This is my sister, Andrea. She is a medical health professional who was very helpful to my dad throughout his life, and we owe a great deal to her for his health and well-being. So, on behalf of all the friends of David Luce that are here tonight, his collaborators from Reichert Incorporated, his friends, lifelong friends, we would like to thank the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame for recognizing his work, and in particular for recognizing the contribution of someone who made the instruments that musicians play. The sound of instruments is a key part of music and is often underappreciated in terms of the work and the evolution that goes behind it. A trumpet, for example, has gone through hundreds of years of evolution. The synthesizers that a lot of people play today have gone through decades and decades of fine-tuning and work by dedicated engineers and creative designers to make all of that happen. My dad was a humble man. He was a scientist. He spent huge amounts of his life alone in his laboratory, working away to late hours at night, as my mother well knows and we well know. If he was still alive, he'd be in his room, in his lab right now, or his office, doing the same thing. He never stopped. One of his great achievements was the invention of the first fully polyphonic synthesizer, the Polymoog synthesizer, which really had a major impact from 1975 through the early 80s with its beautiful cosmic textural sounds And it really freed keyboard players to be able to play fully polyphonically like a pianist would play, but with a much wider universe of sounds. He also invented the thunderous sounding Taurus bass pedals that were used by, and actually really made the sound of bands like Genesis, for example, and Rush. You can see lots of pictures of Geddy Lee playing those Taurus bass pedals. Really great, and those still exist today. They've been reissued by the current Moog music. Something that is not known about my father very well, even in the synthesizer industry, is that before he came into that area, he was actually a researcher of musical sound. He was a world leader in using the giant computers back in the early 60s to study the structure of sound, and he built all of that knowledge into those synthesizers. And that's why they sound the way they do. It was really a remarkable synergy between hard analytical science and the creative and emotive world of music that we have with his work, and was just a really remarkable story. In his later years, he became a leader of Moog music, tried to keep it afloat, tried very hard to preserve the jobs of those people. It was an important source of jobs and support for many people in this community here. And then later on, when the synthesizer industry in the United States essentially vaporized, he went to work for a company, what is now known as Reichert Incorporated, and remarkably, he transformed himself and he became a leading developer and inventor of ophthalmic technology. This is the stuff that measures the pressure in your eyeballs, for example, and can tell you if you are under risk of developing conditions like glaucoma and keratosis and many other types of disorders. And some of his collaborators here who he mentored and worked closely are with him here. I'd like the Reichert crowd to stand up. If you guys would. There they are. And lastly, I just wanted to say that they are representative, and many other people are representative of people who my father mentored. Even though he was very busy with his own work, he really took the time to mentor other people. And there are many, many people out there that owe their careers to him, both in the music world and in the ophthalmic world. So thank you once again, Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. This means the world to us. We are deeply honored, and you've really helped us preserve his memory and appreciation. Thank you and good night.
You know, it's funny, you learn a lot up here about the people in Buffalo, New York, that if it wasn't for the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame, we would never know these things. Isn't that fantastic? Huh? Wow. Up next, we are taking you down memory lane with a rock band that gave us a unique combination of styles from psychedelic to Americana. Mercury Rev is an indie rock band formed in Buffalo. The group gained wide critical and commercial acclaim with major label and movie soundtrack releases. They appeared on the 1993 Lollapalooza tour, and their 1998 album, Deserter Songs, was named New Music Express Album of the Year. Mercury Rev, welcome to the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame 2023.
Come on over here, Jimmy. On behalf of Mercury Rev, I'd like to thank you for recognizing us and inducting us into this Hall of Fame. Jonathan couldn't make it tonight. He had shoulder surgery, and so he's back in the Hudson Valley. I'd like to thank Jennifer, my wife, Donovan, my son, Harrison, my son, my sister Lee, my brother Bobby, who couldn't be here, and my parents above, who took me to Kleinhans Music Hall, Shays, Allentown Arts Festival, to see, I saw Yul Brynner, I saw Richard Harris, I saw such great music, jazz, rock, classical, polka, avant-garde, and the band would like to thank Tony Conrad, Ron Emke, Robert Creeley, Eric Van Rysden, and Charles Kyle for, giving us such great musical knowledge. we've traveled the world in the last 30 years, been to like 80 different countries. And no matter where I go, there's always somebody from Buffalo. Like, we're everywhere. I go to Singapore and I'll meet somebody in the hotel, like, I'm from North Tonawanda. Or I'll be in Australia and, you know, there's somebody from Cheektowaga. Anyway, you know, we got the best food, we got the best nightlife, we have the best sports teams, we have the best weather, and we got the best music here in Buffalo. But most of all, we have the best people and the community like no other in the world. And I just want to say a lyric from our first album, what once was lost will never be found. Keep spinning in circles till you break new ground.
Greetings all. My name is Jimmy Chambers. Over the course of Mercury Rev's first 4 albums, I served as the band's live and studio drummer, contributed as a songwriter, and applied my talents as a utility musician, adding the odd keyboard and mojo stick parts. Yes, that's an instrument. I would like to begin by acknowledging my roots as a musician who has been involved in the local Buffalo music scene since the early 1980s. First, I would like to thank my wife Amy, my parents, family, and my late Uncle Bob Chambers, all of whom supported me throughout my life and musical career, and who helped to foster the idea that I should pursue my intense musical passions and desires. I would like to thank the North Buffalo community of musicians and their families who were by my side during the formative years and enabled me to initiate my musical endeavors, while thrashing away on a drum kit in their basements, trying to get it all sorted out as I honed my craft. Thank you to Jim Redden and Jimmer Phillips of The Moment, who took a chance on me as a 16-year-old drummer. My time in The Moment would eventually lead to my introduction to fellow Mercury Rev bandmates Jonathan Donahue and David Baker, who would manage The Moment for a short time. Fortuitous, for sure. Extra special thanks to Mercury Rev and bandmates Jonathan Donahue, Sean Grasshopper McCowiak, Suzanne Thorpe, David Baker, and Dave Fridman, who gave me the opportunity to realize my dreams and travel overseas in a recording and touring professional rock and roll band. An amazing journey, tempered by many highs and lows, but packed with so many great experiences, including highlights such as opening for Bob Dylan, playing the revolutionary Lollapalooza Festival, as mentioned before, performing in many of Europe's celebrated venues and concert halls, including the Royal Albert Hall, recording John Peel sessions at the BBC Maida Vale Studios, where legends such as the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, David Bowie, Nirvana, Adele, and Beyonce would record, and also being featured on the cover of English rock magazines. These experiences were all dreams 2 years prior to joining the band. I would like to thank all of those who helped pave the way to the success of the band and the fans that have supported the band all along the way, both past and present. I would also like to thank especially the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame for recognizing these efforts and awarding Mercury Rev this great honor. Last but not least, I'm not sure if it's been mentioned yet tonight, but I would like to acknowledge, recognize, and remember all of those living and deceased who have served the vital function of providing the lifeblood of our musical community, live music performance, including the late Bud Burke and the Continental, the Sportsman's Tavern and Cave, Joe Rubino and Nietzsche's, Marty Borton, the late Pete Perrone and the now current Mohawk Place ownership, Artie Quitchoff and Donnie Kutzbach at the Town Ballroom, and any of those willing to take a chance and throw their hat in the ring to support local original music. Thank you, everyone.
In the very beginning of the night, we shared with you some of the greats in our legacy class of 2023.
Next tonight, we want to take a moment to remember some of our fellow Buffalo Music Hall of Fame inducted members who we just have lost this year.
just this month we lost Joyce Wilson Nixon, a singer, performer, and past board member of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. Our hearts go out to all of the families in this room who have lost a loved one. Every life deserves to be celebrated, and we are grateful that so many families and friends have touched our lives.
Finally tonight, we end up on a high note as we induct one of Buffalo's original rock and roll groups, the Vibratos. The Vibratos were led by brothers Dick and Jack Terranova and featured Hall of Fame inducted members singer Corey Wells, if you didn't know, from Three Dog Night, and drummer Gary Malaber. They recorded several singles in the mid-'60s, including Walking in the Rain. The band also toured with Sonny and Cher and the Beach Boys, opened locally for national acts, and were the house band on the Joey Reynolds TV show. Congratulations to the Vibratos. Congratulations.
You're going to go first to me. No, you go first. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to thank all the family members for all the musicians, the talented musicians that work with us over the years. And I would go by name, but it's all the right side over here. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the beginning of the Vibratos. But first I have to get the screen up.
By the way, this is Dick.
Yeah,
Dick Terranova.
Dick Terranova, right.
My older brother.
I'd like to thank the Academy. In 1958, 4 teenagers from the east side of Buffalo, Film and Ferry section, got together to play some music. We were 13 to 15 years old, somewhere in that vicinity. It's gotten such a long time ago that I can't quite remember exactly. But we had Joe Ferrara playing drums, Vic Morrow and myself, and Vic Caputi playing guitar. There was 3 guitar players and 1 drummer. We practiced in Joe Ferrara's attic. You know, today they call it the garage bands. We were the attic band. You know. And it was hot up there, and you can imagine. In the summertime, how hot it was. But it didn't bother us. We were 13 to 14, 15 years old. Joe's parents also owned a pet shop. It was on the first floor, and it was called Birdland. There were 3 guitar players, as I mentioned, and 1 drummer. The 3 guitar players plugged into a Gibson amplifier. It had 3 inputs, and we all plugged into that amplifier. But just the 1 amplifier for all 3 guitar players. We couldn't afford anything better than 1 amplifier. It was a Gibson amplifier, and we bought it at Delarad Music Store on Fillmore. I remember that. I think it cost us maybe $50 at most. We wrote our own music. We had a beginning and an ending, and everything in between was the same. The changes were EAB, you know, EAB. So we, you know, it was a lot of fun when we wrote that music. There was something else that went with the amp, and basically, when we were searching for a name when we first started, we were searching for a name, and we couldn't come up with a name. And my cousin, Frank Delfonso, he noticed on the front of the Gibson amp, on the panel, there was a vibrato. Now, I think they call it something a tremolo today, but there was a vibrato inserted in the amp. And he went up to us and he said, well, why don't you call the group the Vibratos? And that's the beginning of the name, the Vibratos. You know, and I think it's called a tremolo today, but I'm not sure. And again, I went through the music that we played and etc. We worked at the Dellwood Ballroom. We did Tommy Shannon Caravan and Lucky Pierre Record Hops. And I'm going to turn it over to Jack, as Paul Harvey would say, for the rest of the story.
Dick. Hey, Dick, come on back here. So he failed to tell you that we finally got a singer and he used the same amp. Stand over here.
He's always calling me back.
Stay here. Stay here, Dick. Stay up here, would you? We also have some other vibratos here with us. I'd like to call them up here. Chick Cicero, if you will. Chicky. Al Fiorella. Paul Lieberson. Joe Ferrara. Come on up here, if you will. Thank you. There are other members of the groups that you saw here up here. Those are Paul Herman, Gary Malaber, Al Rizzuto, and Buddy Brundo, who cannot be with us tonight, but pay homage to them. Also, in the handout that you received on the table, we called it, based on Tom Lorenz's input, which was a great idea, the Vibrato Family. We were around Buffalo way back when. I'd like to pay homage to all the club owners, but they're not with us anymore. We played from the early 60s as a professional band through the mid to late 70s as the Vibratos. Those club owners, which we loved, starting with Harry Altman, who actually found us the Town Casino, and that's where we played and received a big name there. And of course, Harry Altman died in 1967 at the Town Casino, and he was the showman. And when people talk about Buffalo as being the show palace of the world and the start of rock and roll, it's true. And, you know, I talked to Gary yesterday, and he said, like I agree, Buffalo is where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be, because this is where it started. It started right here in Buffalo. Buffalo. I'd like to thank the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. I don't live here anymore. I left in '77 as Dick did. Chicky doesn't live here anymore. But all of our families came back here tonight. Their home is Buffalo, even though they didn't grow, some of them didn't grow up here. Buffalo is our home. We're proud of it. We love to come back. And thanks all the families for coming back. Thanks, Buffalo. I'd like to thank Tom Lorenz. You know, we said, you know, Tom, we haven't played in quite a while. We're going to play tomorrow night, and we're going to perform tomorrow night. We practiced today, and, you know, they were coming in off the street. Chicky had his horn out in the middle of Transit Road. Huh? Yeah, we did. We're going to do it tomorrow night. I'd like to thank some of the Vibrato family. First of all, Wally Jetterman. Wally, come on, you're proud of being in this organization, Wally. Stand up. Where are you, Wally? Because Wally is part of our family. Wally played with us as well through the years. I'd like to thank Jimmy and Mickey Kipler. They're in the Hall of Fame as well. Jimmy and Mickey, thanks for coming again tonight, being with us again. Deanne and Sandy Bure. Sandy and DA, stand up. That's Walking in the Rain. We recorded together in New York. I'll tell you what happened, a short story. We had a school bus, a reconditioned school bus. We gutted and put in chairs and things and a little heater. And in March of 1965, we trucked it all the way to New York to Bell Sound. And you guys may not remember, Chicky lost his pants at the cleaners. But at the same time, Tom Jones was recording It's Not Unusual. That same time, you guys remember looking through the window? We see Tom Jones doing it. Anyway, we recorded Walking in the Rain and Stumping Kind of Fella, which we'll do tomorrow. Anyway, we took this school bus all the way to New York City to Bell Sound to record. Very cold March day. When we were at the time, we were working at the Town Casino, and we had showgirls that used to do the show in the back room. Town Casino did the show in the back room, and we always had stars, Sammy Davis, the rest of those who used to work the back room, and we worked the lounge. What's the name of that now, Tom? What's the name of where the Town Casino is? The Town Ballroom. All right, that's what it's called now, but that was the biggest showroom bigger than New York. I mean, this was the place right here, for those that don't know. Big acts. At the time, there was, big acts would play there. And we played the lounge. Many times the lounge was more crowded than the back room. I mean, the lounge was the place to be during that period of time. Where the showgirls would work the back room, and they were all young. We were young guys. And we got to know the showgirls real well. And they were all from New York. Anyway, when we get to New York City, in Times Square with this big old broken down yellow school bus with vibratos instead of, school bus. Who's in the middle of Times Square is all these showgirls. They didn't know we're coming. So they're yelling after the bus as we're driving through Times Square. Very unusual. And then we recorded what we recorded there at the time. But again, thank you very much, Buffalo Hall of Fame, for recognizing us after, let's see, it's been at least 150 years. And what is it? But anyway, Buffalo's our home. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be here. The people that are not here, and all of the vibrato family, I just appreciate everybody, and all our real family that came and traveled. We live on the West Coast now, and they all came from the West Coast. And it's amazing because they said to us, we want to be here. It's a big event to them, and it's bigger to them than it is to us, and it's big to us as well. Now, I'd like to, Chicky, would you like to say hello to people? Come on. Chicky Cicero. Chicky. Thank you.
I just want to remind everybody I lost my pants in Buffalo, New York.
In the wintertime.
In the winter.
Chicky is one of the greatest showman sax players that ever came out of Buffalo, New York. You'll read about him, but Chicky would come off the stage on Chippewa or at the Town Casino on Main Street, walk off the stage, out the front door with only a garter belt on and his socks, and play in the middle of the street in the winter. That's right. That was Chicky. Go ahead, Chick. Legendary.
And second of all, I would like to say I really, really loved every minute, and it was fun working with these guys. And Jack, our leader, was one of the finest and is still the finest singers that you're going to hear if you come down tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Buffalo Hall of Fame. Thank you all. Thank you.
We would like to invite all of our inductees up to the front of the room. And as they make their way up, we want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. Thank you to the inductees who have generously shared their music and talent with us. And thank you for celebrating this moment with us tonight. Kenny, it has been a pleasure.
Mercedes, it's been my pleasure.